What the world needs to be a peaceful place is like grow more plants, grow more food, work together, have more security, grow farms, grow land, build new things, and like be happy and no violence.
Every time I'm outside and I'm walking, I gotta check behind me, to the right, to the left, front.
By my school, there was a shooting at Chipotle. A student died.
It seems like it's always bad news. You start to get numb, I think, after a while.
Gun violence has become such a normal thing that it's just like, damn, like he really got shot. I was on the phone with him just the other day, and now I can't even say goodbye to him.
Some days it's just like, you feel like it's inevitable. Like sometimes it's no way to just put a halt to it.
This country is no stranger to the disease that we call violence.
Gun violence as a whole is a lose-lose deal for everybody. And I don't think a lot of these kids realize how much people they hurt when they commit a crime.
I don't like people shooting guns at anyone because that makes me feel very sad.
You're living in a very dangerous world.
Gun violence, that's something that plagues throughout these streets.
Going to jail is a badge of honor. That type of stuff gotta change. A lot of kids think that that's part of them becoming a man. That's gonna be the overall thought process, then a lot of them are gonna wanna experience this stuff.
I lost my brother to it. He came out of school and he got shot.
My cousin was 26 years old when he was executed. He had his hands tied and they shot him in the head.
My son was in a local gang member put 9 bullets in him. He survived, he's in a wheelchair. That made me realize there's gotta be an alternative to that. I didn't even know he was in a gang.
I lost a few friends to gun violence. And I know how that feeling, and I know how, as a black male, I know how that could feel, just after. You never really heal from that.
This is what happens every day now, and it just sucks when it's you in that position.
A piece of you basically just died, and you can't really get that back.
If you had a person or a human being with any type of empathy, you wouldn't really want nobody else out there feeling like that.
And very hurtful, actually, because now you really come to the realization that this is the world that we live in, and tomorrow is never promised.
Bitch, I'm a thot. Get me lit, I can't fuck with these niggas cause niggas is
Pop Smoke died. It was devastating. It took a toll on the community.
I appreciate y'all,
Bashar grew up in church. And like all good church boys, they know how to play the drums, the piano, and a little guitar if you let them. And because we were a part of what I would call a performing arts church, they learned more theater. They learned really how to put a show together.
He liked to rap. He actually was a dancer before he was into rap. He was a very good dancer. But he never ever let the gang go because the more famous you get, the more they tend to follow you. So what's making your gang more worthy to join is because of him. That jealousy is what's gonna take them out. Everyone who knew him, sorrow. I would say it was one of the saddest moments. He was a local. When you have a local, good or bad, you embrace that. And that took a lot away.
You would have never thought 2 teenagers would go and do something like that.
He's a musical icon, a musical leader in the community who has done a lot, paved the way in a short period of time.
He was from where we're from.
He always made sure to remember where he started, remember where he came up.
He was basically talking up for everybody.
I think he was a positive influence.
Seeing what he did for the kids, his voice when kids heard his music, that was devastating.
The reason I think that Bashar is such an inspiration to these young people is that he was in an environment that he was supposed to fail. But somehow or the other, right, with determination, and whatever he needed to manifest the things he put out in the world that he was going to accomplish, and he did it.
There should be a camera on, like, the gun, so if you're trying to do bad things with it, it will call the police immediately.
There wasn't much gun violence in the beginning.
There was some, but not in this particular area.
Has the neighborhood changed? You have a different sort of a crime.
It was never like kids, it was more older, but now the young kids are into the violence.
Now, nobody cares. You with your grandmother and your problems, they're gonna shoot you. You with your kids, there's gonna be a shootout. What drives any individual, the ones that I've hung out with, the ones that I see every day, to act in these ways, it's just pure survival mode. A lot of people would rather be in different situations, but sometimes the environment don't allow you to. Some people grow up and then their family are in the project. So now they're in this environment from the get-go. They see people in the corner, they see shootouts. From the very beginning, they have to learn how to survive. Up the block, they have to be this way, right? So then they clash. You have these guys over here with guns, these guys over here with guns. Nobody fights anymore. So you know what? These person have guns for protection because you just never know.
There is different type of shooting. There is gangs, there is the school shootings.
We always try to be very cautious when it comes to talking about mass shooting.
It seems that when there's a shooting in the hood or in these environments, it's dark, right? It's like a dark cloud over it. When they go shoot up a school, it's a dark cloud, but it's sort of like, oh yes, this person had a mental issue, they were stressed at home. But, you know, we can see maybe where they're coming from.
We don't want to bring a problem from another community here, meanwhile we don't have that problem. You see what I'm saying? So we don't know how these young people will take it, because we have to be very careful, because there's a lot of copycat.
So you don't have a father here, the mother out there working, trying to put food on the table. Who's raising the kids? There's nobody raising the kids. They raising themselves. So you go outside and you raise from the street. It's an environment thing. And then when money's not being put in that environment, what do you have? You have a war every single day.
Crime is the ultimate employer. When you have no place else to go and no other way to make money, you can engage in crime.
I definitely think it's an economic thing.
We're in times where people feel like they gotta do whatever they gotta do to survive.
Maybe they don't have any food.
They're just making bad decisions in terms of how you chose to survive.
You see other ones have nice sneakers, a new iPhone. You want it. And for some, you're gonna get it no matter what's the way to get it.
The kids were selling weed, coke, crack, whatever came in. Whoever ran the streets had the money.
So what drove me to hang out with these people, they're in school, they're in the neighborhood, they're everywhere. But a lot of these people are like good people. The environment brings them to do things that they have to do to defend themselves. I meet people and I see the good in them, you know, but I also understand that it comes with this other side, this other territory. They had charges. I didn't have no charge. So cops pulled us over and I took the gun from them. They took us down to the precinct, and then that's when I met Youngblood, and they introduced the outreach program.
We did have a lot of politicians come in and try to get programs going to keep kids off the street. Basically, somewhere to go and something to do helped a lot.
And sometimes that's the only thing that separates you from getting in trouble and not getting in trouble, is having an option to go somewhere else.
Look, when you're bored and you're looking what to do, you do what's in front of you.
If you got nowhere else to go but where the gang is going, you're getting in trouble.
The bells had to go off for me to understand this is what's going on. You have to pay attention.
This is a place where we see a need of service and we try to fulfill that service.
Mark was definitely my mentor.
I came here 1996. My mandate was to either fix the agency or close it.
When he came to H.E.S. and I came a little bit after him, the agency was open only for Jewish people. He made the change to open the doors to everybody.
This really isn't an institution of bricks and mortar. It's an institution of partnerships between families, between individuals, between people who care about each other.
Doesn't matter what religion, what culture.
What the yeshiva boys had and what the regular community kids had was sports.
You definitely see engagement encounters where it may have never happened on the outside street.
It's not people being taught not to be racist, it's people learning that they have more in common with the other than they do with most anybody else.
When you walk in these doors, you see Asian,
Jamaican, Trinidadian, Ghanese, Haitian,
Hispanics, Blacks,
people from Belize,
Caucasians.
Young people, they definitely do feel safe coming here.
We try to bring them in to prevent of them being involved out there.
I think they absolutely feel safe.
My parents, they always supported like H.E.S. when I was younger and everything too, so like they know like it's a safe place, safe zone.
With basketball, we traveled a lot. It got me away from all the craziness that happens outside of here.
I got to meet new people, good people.
I met most of my friends here.
Making others feel happy. That is what I have been born to do.
My mother was a foster parent pretty much my whole life. For me, that was just a norm, like to see people getting help, that it was not a big deal to me. It's just part, I think that's what we're supposed to be doing as humans.
At least if you could get one kid to listen to you, or one ear to say, I understand what you're saying, you know what, I might change up. You might be saving that kid's life. There's no reward that can top helping somebody.
Some of my guys here, our road program, we get them to work out.
We would go to prisons and we would see if they were on drugs, selling drugs, using drugs with a nonviolent crime. A lot of them did have gun charges, but no bodies or nothing like that.
And we have the older members over here. This is how we keep them off the street. And keep them working out.
We realized the kids needed to get some sort of exercise. We used to have our own gym, but they're really only seeing each other. The problem isn't each other, because when they come to us, they're inside and they know each other. The problem is when they have to be brought back out to the streets and you're seeing the local gangs that you argued and fought with.
Stand up with the weight, stand up with it.
How will you interact then?
Man, show them what you got. 3, 4.
So our teachings and H.E.S. had everything we needed.
This is serious business.
They don't have nowhere else to turn. They can always turn to basketball.
This is one of the safe spaces in Canarsie where if you're a basketball player, football player, athlete of any sort, where you could come here and work on your craft.
Get into sports and you start to play sports, your team becomes your new gang.
Just in terms of everything, you're still in teamwork. This is all the stuff that you're gonna need in any aspect after basketball anyway. I might have kids from other neighborhoods that, nice neighborhoods, they're not used to aggressive kids. Now you bring them here, they merge together and they train together.
All being off the street, putting your time into something positive.
There's gonna be an argument. You gotta learn how to argue. You gotta learn how to get into words that don't escalate to run to outside and get a gun. So coming here twice a week, 3 times a week, they began to understand that these are kids just like we were.
I think everything you get from basketball is gonna better you in life at some point anyway.
After COVID-19, we see a great number of young people who are depressed.
Someone's always going through something.
mental health with kids now, especially after the pandemic, we see depression, anxiety.
There's stress, stress of, like I said, walking outside and you might die. That's a stress.
You always have to keep your guard up.
It happens where this person might not like you just because of the clothes you have on.
You could walk into a neighborhood with a specific color on and you could be an intended target.
This person might not like you because of the girl you're talking to.
You might bring across the wrong image or the wrong impression.
That goes on today. You might have on a nice shirt, a nice pair of sneakers, and, they want to start with you for no reason.
Any population you point to is going to have people with mental and emotional issues. Where are they going to go? So they could come here and they can get a caseworker to help them on their case.
Can we get maintenance to come and wipe here? Someone's going to fall over.
If there's any problem that occurs in H.E.S, I feel like I can just talk to one of my peers. There's everybody there that will comfort me and counsel me.
In the wake of mass shooting, there is often a debate about the need for stricter gun control laws. What are your thoughts on this issue?
Teenagers may see something, maybe a different way that I may see something.
Because everybody else got a gun, why would I not want to have one?
I get them my views, I hear their views.
Everybody want to get a gun then.
We compare, contrast, things of that nature. Make sure that they stay free, safe, just being that positive role model for them.
Well, hitting through words is significant. The whole problem was words and killing. Somebody said something, somebody was offended, somebody felt disrespected, and they went and they acted up on it by taking someone's life. So my response to that was, if you had the language to express yourself, you could express yourself in a way that wouldn't offend someone enough for them to go and take a life.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for having me out today. This is a song about getting our community together, and it's called The Way You Feel. Feel free to clap along if you want.
It's your eyes to light up or burn out the way you feel. It's your eyes to light up or burn out the way you feel.
Empty beds, broken hearts, and a nation torn apart. How many more must suffer this fate? How many more must bear this weight? We must stand up, we must unite to put an end to this endless flight.
We stick to the status quo of being poor, but together we can make it possible to become more. More than where we live, more than what we see, more than what we gain.
No, we are cycle breakers, magnify peace. Gunshots should never be the norm. We force the violence to cease. At 6, home should be home, safe, shielded from the world's disease. A child's dreams are up to you, no us, but the opportunity to
The young people who participated in today's activity have invested in their future by focusing on a nonviolent way of expressing the feelings and emotions that show up in their everyday life. How do we seed, then nurture a deep-rooted sense of self in our children? We do it by practicing healing through work. We're responsible for stopping the violence by making sure our young people know that we want them and we believe in them.
We need more role models and more positive influencers.
Role models starts with the people that are inside your inner circle.
My father was a big influence in my life. He always told us that people are people and there is good in every one of us.
Some people want a father figure in their life, but they don't have that. So if you don't have a father figure and you're just raised by your mother and your grandmother, you get that love from them, and that's a great love. But you also need the love from a man that's in your life.
The goodness of his was always something that stayed with me, that I wanted to be a good person in my life, a good person that will influence others people's life.
So guess what? You go get it from the guy that's on the street. So then he starts to raise you, and you get what he learns are his morals, and then you take that as your own.
Honestly, if you want to help people stop with guns, they need to make them understand the laws, that they're in a world of trouble if they get caught with a gun.
Because guess what? Now you're by yourself. You don't have your friends, you don't have these other people. And if you're not built into that life, let's just say you came because of friends, you're gonna get eaten up.
They don't make them go talk to the guys that's facing 50 years. These kids should be knowing what it's like.
I've taken many 13-year-olds out of jail for guns because they were taught by older members of their gang it was okay, that they're gonna be slapped on the wrist.
You could go in there for this and then start and catch another charge, and next thing you know, your whole life is derailed from this one instance, right? Because you listen to somebody else.
Being a parent of a teenager, they're gonna sometimes be just followers, you know, and make decisions based on someone else.
Go upstate, take a visit, and see that it's not fun. This is not the life that nobody wants, not a human being should want for themselves.
But then again, they don't have a father figure, their mother not there, so they believe in this. They believe in this to their core, because this person won't do me wrong. He's protecting me.
The thing that makes me sad is when police officers are there to help, but instead of them helping, they're making it even worse.
I think the 69th precinct plays a big role preventing gun violence. They're very open to the community. Once a month, they hold here at H.E.S. community meetings.
We ended the last quarter of 2022 with less shootings in a quarter than any previous year since 2004.
Their community affair department is very active in the community.
Our Explorers program is for kids ages 14 to 20, and they come from our own community.
We teach them how to be a role model to a society. I've been dealing with H.E.S. for the past 20-something years. All of our job fairs always at H.E.S.
You have the option to speak to private agencies, government agencies, MTA. You speak to someone from H.E.S.
For them to find jobs, and then they will have no time to go out there and looking for trouble.
When it comes to us teens, why don't we get the same respect as adults?
How would you feel if the roles were reversed? Like, as if you were an innocent person that was being targeted for no reason.
The youth understanding the police and the police understanding them. I think there is a big gap in the communication.
Communication plays a big part.
And maybe places like us needs to do more of that, of bringing them together, for the police to hear the concern and the challenges of young adults who feel that they are being harassed, and to hear from the police why they're acting the way they are sometimes.
So we're just asking them to be less aggressive and listen to what we have to say.
Respect is not given, it's earned.
We all need respect. And I think with, respectful way, we can have conversations on, hard conversations like gun violence. We all saying gun violence, but what are we doing about it? We have to get involved.
We're so distracted by the pain of losing our children that we do nothing to make the change.
The world has changed.
There is not only my life. There is not only my home. My home is a part of a community. My home is a part of a block, of a city, of a country. And we all have to come together on that.
Is there anyone in this room who's not a human? Anybody? Not a human being? That's the one thing we all have in common, no matter where you come from, what color you are, what sex you are, what's your name. Once we leave the humane part, then we can separate, right?
If the jobs, if the housing, if the programs and the services don't make their way, and then these young people have nothing else to do, what else do we expect out of them?
They need help. They need resources. They don't need handcuffs.
Everybody deserves a second chance. I don't care who you are. Us being humans, we have to understand that people make mistakes. That's part of being a human being. And I think if we take that out of our society, we're gonna be in trouble.
May have came home, served time, but they want to get on their feet, but they can't for whatever reason, because there's no resources made available.
They're gonna serve their time according to the law, and then I just think us as humans, we have to be able to set them back in society the same way.
Education, food, housing, clean housing, all of the things that everybody else is entitled to as a human being.
What's there from the community to offer somebody with a felony? And it's very little.
It's a lot of inequities that bring us to gun violence.
So we fight for equity on all grounds. And then, as a community, what we say is, because I gave you a job, because I took care of your mental health, because I provided all these resources, you can't sell crack on my block no more. You don't have to.
We want to make the world a better place. It starts with us.
It does start with us.
Those young men and young women need us.
That's right.
We are here for a reason, for a purpose. And the purpose is to put an end to gun violence in our community.
It's about building a relationship with the police, your child, and your family.
And the moment that the community comes together and rise up and begin to work together, the violence and the trouble will begin to be suppressed.
Canarsie belongs to all of us.
It takes a village to raise children.
Yes, it takes a village. Absolutely.
It takes a village just to uphold a community, to build trust.
And inspire them, there will be good results.
When we lose community and we lose village, we have children who don't have means of expressing themselves and have nowhere to go to say, I'm in trouble or I'm scared.
We can't give up. We can't think other way that that's it, the gun violence is taking over our life or our children's life. No.
We don't need more guns to be a peaceful world.
In his speech on the National Day of Prayer, Mayor Eric Adams reminded me of the traditional greeting used among the Maasai, and it is, how are the children?
Yep.
This is whether or not the person has children. The response is the children are well. This lets you know how important children are in this society. This means children are validated every day throughout the day.
Yep.
So, you know, my mind, which gets me in trouble sometimes, I wonder, well, what do the children say when they greet each other? Just something to think about, right? But what if they ask, how is your family? The answer would be, my family is well. Healing through words.
Become the change you want to see.
It's within you.
It's within all of us.
Contact your local elected officials and community centers to get involved.
For immediate assistance,
you can reach out to these organizations for support.
Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, New York City Office to Prevent Gun Violence, United States Department of Agriculture National Hunger Hotline.